Now 9/12, children and teenagers entering foster care through no fault of their own, as we all know, because they have been abused, neglected, abandoned, or unable to continue living safely with their families is an issue here in our country. According to the most recent federal data, of the 400,000 children in foster care, more than 125,000 of them are waiting to be adopted. There are many misunderstandings about the adoption process here in Florida and across the country. In honor of National Adoption Day, Colleen Rodriguez with Jewish Family and Community Services is here to explain how it all works. Like we said, there are a lot of myths circulating that process.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, where do we start with that process?
I think it's important that people realize often they think finances is going to be a problem, that you have to have a lot of money to adopt. Absolutely, if you're trying to do a private adoption and get an infant, there are fees involved. But the children in foster care really is an inexpensive process. We're just wanting to make sure our kids find the right home.
A safe home.
A safe home. And we also like to keep siblings together. So if you're willing to expand your family by more than one child, foster care is a really good option.
How often is it we find siblings in the foster care system?
Pretty significant. Sometimes they don't come in at the same time, but as children are in the system and new babies are born, we do try to keep the siblings together and find placement together.
If people at home this morning are watching this and they're interested in getting involved and participating, maybe perhaps becoming parents, how can they do so? How do you get the ball rolling on that?
One of two ways. They can either call Family Support Services of North Florida, or they can call Jewish Family and Community Services, and we will link them and talk to them about the process. You have to go through a class and get a home study and background checks and things like that, but we can talk them through that process, and it's relatively simple.
Some people out there who might be interested, how do they find out if they're eligible to be parents?
The best way is to come in and meet with an adoption caseworker, talk about what's involved, what's the process, and then kind of talk about what would be right for their family.
From where you're standing, why do you encourage people to adopt?
So I'm personally adopted, and my son that's sitting over there is also adopted as well. And so it's been a wonderful way that we've made a family, and it's been a good experience for me and a good experience for all the hundreds of adoptions that I've been part of.
Obviously, that's a conversation you have with your peers. It's probably a conversation that he has with his peers.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful thing. There's nothing wrong with being adopted. People chose to bring us into their families. I chose to have him in my family, and that's a wonderful gift. And he's more of a gift to me than I am probably to him.
Oh, that's very sweet. When we talk about these numbers, for some 400,000 children in the system, 125,000 are adopted. That means there are lots and lots who are not. What is it like here in Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia?
So I can say that Northeast Florida has done a really good job of not letting kids linger in the system. The days of coming in at 3 and leaving at 18, that no longer exists. We have a judge that really helps us push
3 and
that
18,
forward.
you said?
Like coming in at 3 and leaving at
18.
18. Those days are over. Okay. Definitely in the state of Florida, definitely in Northeast Florida. Now we're really trying to find permanency for children within 12 months. So if they're not going to be able to go home to their family, if they can go to a relative, that's great. If not, then we're looking for their forever family. And that clock starts ticking the day they come in. We don't want children growing up in foster care. We do the best to take good care of them while they're in care, but that's not the place to grow up.
Right. And there are so many great people out there who do open their doors just to be foster parents. And so this would be a permanent fixture, like you're saying. How does JFCS help with that adoption process here in Jacksonville?
So we have been doing adoptions for over 60 years at our organization, and we do both private adoptions, the baby and adoptions that aren't involved in the foster care system, but then we are also a large child welfare provider. So we have children that come into our care. This morning, our number is 487 children that we're supervising, and we'll continue to try to work towards reunification if we can, but only about 40% of those children will actually go home to the parents they were removed from. So we're looking for families every day, and we take the kids all the way through, matching them with the right family to the adoption day.
And when we talk about families, we're also talking about families who are not Jewish. People who are not Jewish can stop by the center.
We serve the entire community. 83% of our clients last year were not Jewish. Yes, we were established in the Jewish values, but we serve the entire community.
Love that. For more information, where can people go?
Then go to www.jfcsjax.org.
All great information. Colleen, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having us.